In today's material, I'll play a very unusual campaign focused on development. The uniqueness lies in the fact that I'll simply play as a horde, or rather a great horde. That is a type of nation that isn't designed to sit back and develop provinces, but to conquer as much as possible. And well, that's exactly what I'll be doing, because I have to create the Golden Horde one way or another. This will allow me to combine the reduced development costs that this country has in its national ideas with the efficiency of gaining monarchy points. Thanks to more effective looting of the provinces I conquer, I haven't seen anyone ever play a horde in this way, so this might be a very unique approach. Welcome, imperialists! Lucas here. The Golden Horde may be large, but it has several issues. An underwhelming ruler, most of our neighbors dislike us, and the Ottoman Empire, which will inevitably want to go to war with me at some point. There's also technological backwardness, as I don't even have feudalism yet. I've got a lot of problems to address. First, I'll focus on defeating my worst enemies, Crimea, Nogai, Kazan, these hordes are a real nuisance, and introducing feudalism. A lot also depends on the alliances Crimea has at the start, so I'll do everything after December 12th. On December 30th, I designate Crimea as my rival. On December 12th, I immediately attack Crimea. This nation must be conquered first using this casus belli. If Crimea had a powerful ally, and they often do, I'd reset my approach to make things easier. My ruler becomes a leader. Seriously, no siege points? I also recruit a random general, again with no siege points. On top of that, I'll hire some mercenaries. I also introduce the following privileges for the Horde estate. Meanwhile, I improved relations with the Ottoman Empire, Nogai and Uzbek. I probably won't need to conquer Uzbek. Oh wait, I will, but that can come later. Oh, and I sell some land. Oh, what a nice mission I have. It's worth reviewing these missions because as far as I remember, they were changed some time ago. Hooray! A general with additional shock and siege points. Goodbye, Crimean army. The next nation I immediately attack is Circassia, especially since they have an alliance with Theodoro. Honestly, this campaign would be best started as Circassia, but I'm too lazy. I wonder if you know why. Great, the Polish-Lithuanian Union is here. Oddly, that's very good because there was a chance that Lithuania would soon attack me. Now this makes both them and Poland very susceptible to my future conquests. I enter a royal marriage with the Ottoman Empire. Maybe an alliance will come soon? Muscovy refuses to pay us their annual tribute, and honestly, I'll ignore it. I mean, seriously, 50 military points for 5 gold? Oh wait, 50 gold. But still, it's not worth it. The next nation I attack is Gazikumuk. I crush their army without much trouble and then proceed to occupy their entire territory. Starting the tall game with 3 wars at once, interesting strategy, isn't it? I conquer all of Crimea, literally, and of course I burn every province here. This is the essence of the horde mechanic, pillaging and razing provinces. I reduce their development level, which gives me points in return. Crimea was my first target because soon an event with the Ottoman Empire, which now hates me by the way, could occur, granting all of Crimea to them. So the first wars are behind me, and let me tell you why I focused on this region. It's because feudalism exists here, and soon I'll introduce it very quickly. I'm very close. I didn't raise these provinces because the speed of introducing feudalism depends on their development level. I temporarily allied with Uzbek. I'm also improving relations with the Mamluks, Ajam, and perhaps Timurids. I'll see which of these nations will be worth allying with in the future. I invade Ryazan. Hey, now, from an event tied to Muscovy's tribute refusal, I got nearly 200 gold. That could be worth it. I also abdicate my heir because he's come of age and I don't want him to rule. Now another event gives me 50 gold, what's going on? And I introduce feudalism. So the first stage of playing as a horde is done. Crimea is conquered, feudalism is introduced, I designate my next rivals, this time it's Muscovy. And I immediately attack them, why not? They have no manpower after all. Oh yes, they entered that fortress, I can't believe it, but I'll absolutely crush them here. And goodbye, Muscovite army, thank you, thank you. Now I go after their larger army right away. The funniest part is that I don't even need much cavalry to deal massive damage to my opponents. Oh wait, they captured my capital. Haha, my rebels are destroying the army of Muscovy's vassal. Alright, but this war was really just to get money from the Russians. I don't want anything from them yet. It works for me that Muscovy is so close to my border, it'll make them easy to conquer. Besides, you know, Muscovy is my favorite bank in the region. With the spoils of war, I recruit some extra cavalry. This time I'm launching a slightly tougher war against Poland. Another tribal conquest, and my goal is expansion. The initial moves are to break up the Polish armies before they can unite with the Lithuanian ones and to burn these two nations' manpower reserves. What a massacre! What a massacre! Hey, at least Lithuania is cleaning up my rebels for me. How convenient! Although I won't repay them for that. I'll move on to Lubna, not sure if I can take it. Ultimately, I'd like to push as far as Podolia. Okay, but I see Polish troops here, so I need to pull back and crush them one by one. I've also hired a new mercenary company because there's a general with 3 siege points, which should speed up the fortress captures. This will cost me a bit, but it's worth it. Wow, a nice air. The trap on this fort is perfect. I keep breaking down groups of 10,000 troops stationed there. And essentially, I'm about to finish this war. I'm also splitting Polish armies in half. No way am I letting my capital be taken again. No, no, no. Krakow has been captured and unfortunately I have to loot it, though not as thoroughly as I might have. From Poland, I take the following territories, cutting it off from the Ottoman Empire. All of Moldavia is truly worth conquering. There are some incredibly valuable territories here. Maybe not as good as Wallachia, but I'll definitely prioritize this region of the world and conquering Poland. Look at this. Here lie some of the best territories for developing. From the start, we'd have a minus 5% or at least zero cost of development. That's why I want to escape the steppes, where development costs are plus 20%. Unfortunately, from what I've seen, there's nothing in the missions to reduce this. Unless I'm missing something or being foolish. However, all captured territories will be burned immediately as long as it's possible. I also won't demolish these fortresses. They're well placed on flat terrain, so my armies will receive bonuses there. Additionally, I plan to shift my main trade to the Baltic, so I'll aim to conquer territories that redirect my wealth from the Polish region to the Baltic. Let's be honest, all routes lead to the Baltic, so I don't see much sense in developing Astrakhan when I can conquer the Baltic and settle there. Although I can't completely avoid developing this area, since I plan to introduce the Renaissance in Astrakhan, that's my focus. Alternatively, I could conquer it from Genoa later, but why wait? As soon as my truce with Muscovians, I attack them. Once again, my focus will be on destroying the Muscovite army. I put the Muscovites into debt again, but this time I also conquer some of their territories. I suppress revolts once more. Oh, I'm not accepting a significant culture. Let's fix that. I add it to the accepted cultures list now that I've noticed it. I break the Uzbek-Kazan alliance and attack Kazan, which, oh my god, has some other alliance. Hopefully they won't get military access from Uzbek or they'll take forever to arrive. Mogulistan? Since when? Haven't played them yet. Oh wait, this country exists from the start. That was quick, just like the rebels capturing that fortress. Ugh, no. But after a while, most of Kazan is retaken, separating it from Moscow. If Nogai conquers it, that's not a problem. Still, I need to be cautious about aggressive expansion so as not to provoke the Ottoman Empire. All the hordes in this region are Sunni, so naturally I'll generate a lot of aggressive expansion with the Ottomans. The one province I don't burn, of course, is the gold-producing one. I managed to introduce the Renaissance in Astrakhan and immediately paid for it to spread throughout the country. The first idea group I unlock is Horde ideas. They're just too strong for hordes. After this war, I also abdicate my ruler. It's simply time to get rid of him. The first province I add to a state is the gold-producing one. It's crucial for us since it will form a significant part of my early economy. I develop it to 10 with diplomacy to avoid collapsing the mine, and I'll match it with military or administrative points. At this point, my horde is financially stable. I also maintain a 20,000 strong manpower army. An additional 10,000 will likely come from mercenaries, especially since there are often excellent commanders available there. My next tactic is to simultaneously conquer Polish and Muscovite territories. I also notice I have great manpower. Hordes can have a significant cavalry advantage in their armies, however, I'll keep it roughly 50-50 or maybe 40-60. Half the Polish army just ceased to exist. A solid start to the war. Luckily, Poland moved its capital to Warsaw, which is great, it's much easier to capture than Krakow. Meanwhile, I'm crushing the Lithuanian army. After dismantling these armies, I immediately march on Warsaw to capture it. With 50% war score already, the war will soon be over. Though this time, I must admit, Warsaw held out for quite a while. In the next war, I take all the provinces up to Krakow, especially since it allows me to sever Poland's connection to Hungary. From Lithuania, I take provinces leading to Smolensk. I don't feel like capturing that fortress. Actually, I might grab more in that direction to cut them off further from the Russians. Aggressive expansion mainly affects Poland, but the rest spills over to Bohemia, Austria and Hungary. These countries are the only ones that could form a coalition against me, so it's not a significant threat. I also move a merchant from Kiev to improve relations as quickly as possible in the area. And of course, I burn all these provinces as well. Without waiting, I launch another war against Moscow. Though from what I see, this time might be more challenging. Where are they getting these commanders? I don't have such luck. After my Polish conquest, I can also resolve the religious issues in my country. I'll pursue the tolerant mission tree. Unfortunately, the alternative tree requiring conversions would be too slow for me. I think the Muscovite army has gone bankrupt. It's impossible for them to lose their entire army with such a strong commander. Judging by the devastation level, they must be bankrupt. I believe I'm not the only one at war with the Muscovites now. Oops! So this time, I conquer Novgorodian provinces. This wasn't my plan, but I had to. I also take an additional 1000 gold. Right after this war with Russia, I have an opportunity. Nogai lost all their allies, so I attack them. This war should proceed quickly. Unfortunately, Transoxiana conquered just one province too many. I need that province to form the Golden Horde. Otherwise, I would have left them alone, but now I have to declare war. LOL, I weakened Moscow so much they started paying me annual tribute. The first advancement from the age is definitely aggressive expansion for me, or cavalry to infantry ratio, but I prefer the aggressive expansion option to avoid an Ottoman coalition. Oh no, I lost my capital again, seriously, I need to relocate it. Alright, I took a bit more than I needed just for prettier borders. Now I am finishing the conquest of smaller nations in the region. For my second set of ideas, I chose infrastructure ideas. Although they don't synergize well with Horde ideas, they lower development costs and provide a good use for my diplomatic points. I am also conquering the Principality of Perm. Perfect timing. Lithuania has declared independence. That's great, as my truce with both Lithuania and Poland is about to end. I'm granting military access to everyone. I'm curious to see how Poland will end up after this. Since I need to wait, maybe I'll just extract some money from the Ottoman Empire. Moscow has ceased to function as my bank, so I need a new target. It's ideal timing too, as the Ottoman forces are elsewhere. Constantinople fell quickly. I hardly noticed the Ottoman Empire. But Tunisian forces have arrived. Where are these rebellions coming from? Let's see how capable the Ottoman army is. It should be quite strong, but I think I've just taken out their general. Yes, a beautiful slaughter. Oops, something's coming. An enormous Ottoman army. Honestly, I doubt I can win this. Somehow I managed to end the war by seizing these territories and grabbing a good amount of money. All the gold is mine. Since Poland hasn't yet finished its war, I'll turn my attention to Moscow, which seems about to lose its entire army. Indeed, I'm essentially turning Moscow into a reserve for future conquests. I completed the Unity of Faith mission, which introduced a new social state, not necessarily a good thing. Wow, Poland has shrunk significantly. Of course, the one time I need to conquer something, France is playing well and has even taken Defender of the Faith. In every other game, France crumbles, especially if it's my ally. I wasn't expecting a French landing, it's actually a bit funny. I'm just bouncing between Bessarabia, Krakow and Poznan, wiping out French armies. Oh, and my mercenaries are dealing with the Swedes. Could this lead to stack wipes? Nope, just one. Really? They retreated there? Ugh, my whole strategy was ruined because Bohemia attacked Poland. I have to conquer enough to save the remaining territories for myself later. And right after Poland, I'm going for Lithuania again. A nice secondary goal here will be to sever the Austrian-Hungarian alliance. I've called on the Danes, who are my allies, for assistance. Lithuania has shrunk quite a bit. I think I've taken most of their fortresses. Now I'll employ a strategy of attacking the Livonian Order, which is allied with Lithuania. This will drag Lithuania into the war, allowing me to take a white peace, and I'll repeat this cycle every 5 years. Damn, I thought Austria no longer had a casus belli for the Hungarian Union. At least I didn't see it earlier. It's time to conquer some of the final provinces I need to form the Golden Horde. It turns out 2 of them belong to the Uzbeks, while the rest are in Moscow. The Uzbek army stands no chance during the shock phase. I'm absolutely destroying them. Meanwhile, I completed a mission that introduced the emirs as an estate. A great early advantage. I no longer need a lot of crown land, so I'm granting privileges to my estates for points. Though honestly, I don't enjoy conquering these areas, it's hard to traverse, and suppressing rebellions here is a pain. I just reset my truce timer with Lithuania. And voila, Lithuanian money is flowing in. Thanks to this, I have introduced colonialism. By the way, Hungary survived the Personal Union War but couldn't withstand a Bohemian invasion. Unfortunate for me, as I had planned to take those territories from Hungary. I have also occupied all of Livonia. I initially planned to do this later, but it's better to act now while fewer Catholic nations are aware of me. This keeps coalitions smaller. Next up, Moscow. I've chipped away at the Muscovites even further. I now have some breathing room, which is a good time to move my capital. Krakow seems like the best choice, as I'll probably develop the monument there in the future. It's a trade center, though ideally I'd have 5 provinces there instead of just 3, but it'll do. Krakow is now the new capital of the Golden Horde, or rather, just the Horde for now. I haven't officially become the Golden Horde yet, though I'm very close. In theory, I could already form the Golden Horde. I'm not sure if it's the right moment, so I saved the game to see how much my mission tree and ideas would change. The color is definitely more appealing. The ideas are significantly better for conquest, and there's development bonus, which I wanted, plus increased tolerance of heathens. The mission tree thankfully remains unchanged, so I can continue my conquests as planned. It seems like some new branches may have appeared though. The government form also stayed the same, so everything looks good. Oh, and I double checked, my capital didn't move, which is crucial. Now, as the Golden Horde, I'm attacking Poland. I've also invited a scholar to my country to reduce development costs, as I'll be spending diplomatic points to develop some Polish provinces, so it's worth minimizing the expenses. Oh, and soon I'll need to activate my golden era, just 2 more years. Maybe I'll hold off until then to make the most of it. Okay, in theory a coalition could form, but I'll be conquering Moscow soon anyway. Poland is now gone, and I'll be fighting Lithuania repeatedly. I can't believe it, but I managed to secure an alliance with France. It could be useful, though this France seems a bit exhausted. Still, a future ally like that could come in handy. I've also activated my golden era. It might have been better to wait until after 1600, but oh well. And basically, I'm at the stage now where I'll soon begin expanding Poland. Look at this, after all these conquests, Poland is completely burned and destroyed. I'm super curious to see how this will end by the conclusion of this episode. How much green will there be compared to the rest of my country? Will it end up looking like these 3 provinces I've been developing so far? The rest of the world should be mostly red, I suppose. Economically, it's not looking great either. Usually by this point with Poland, I have over 100 to 150 gold. Militarily, I can field 65,000 troops. The coalition is growing, which isn't ideal, so now I'll focus on conquering provinces further and further away from European Catholics. Starting with Lithuania, war by war. At this point, I've completely stripped Lithuania of fortifications. I'm also really curious how my war with the Teutonic Order will end. Will it trigger a massive coalition or not? Because honestly, conquering the Order pretty much wraps up my major conquests in this region. Maybe I could grab something from the Swedes as well, but that's not essential. Of course, during the conquest of the Teutonic Order, a peasant revolt broke out. So now I have to suppress their uprisings. What bad luck. Yeah, the coalition is growing worryingly large, but oh well. Finally, I've finished ideas. But the problem is, I'm a bit behind in technology and will need to catch up quickly. The worst part is that the next idea group I need to take is another economic one. I need it for policy. Alright, so from this point on, I've added the most important territories to states. Everything here is mine. Actually, I'll add Podlasie as well. It's good Polish land. Now I'll focus on developing these provinces, which are starting to look much better in this region than they did a short while ago. I'm super curious to see how much this will change. Basically, the time has come to expand again, because I need points from somewhere. So the next phase will involve a lot of conquest and a focus on economic and manpower development, though manpower is less of an issue. India isn't ready for the arrival of my horde. Initially, I'll conquer cautiously there because they might ally with the Ottoman Empire. By the way, I broke my alliance with Oirat and will try to use them as a pathway to Ming. I've noticed that this empire still exists. I could get funds from them to build up Poland. Unfortunately, the Ottoman Empire attacked me in the meantime. I was surprised they considered me their weakest opponent, but fine. My armies are far away though, and while the Ottomans have more discipline, I have much higher morale. Look at what I'm doing to them during the shock phase. I'm sending them straight back to the Middle Ages. Their losses are massive. They just got a complete stack wipe. Wow. It turns out I can complete a pretty cool mission now. Unbelievable. I'm absolutely crushing their army. And to think I was worried about the Ottomans because of their large forces. They've occupied quite a bit of my territory, but that's not surprising given my lack of fortifications. I'll need to fix that. Alright, now I'm heading straight for Constantinople. Meanwhile, I'm sending an army to automatically clear out all the occupied territories. Once Constantinople falls, the Ottomans seem willing to surrender, but not his time. So that's how I conclude my war with the Ottoman Empire. Unfortunately, I can't claim Constantinople because it requires 50 war score, unless I click this. So unfortunately, this war ends with a bit less progress than I hoped. Wow, it didn't go as well as I thought it would. Now I'll focus on trade in the Baltic region. At the moment, I control 32% after transferring trade. I'm moving trade from Krakow and will probably need to shift it to Novgorod, likely from Astrakhan. But you have to admit I'm earning money after this war. Mostly from war reparations, but I'm earning. What's this casus belli? Naturally, I'm only waging 3 wars at a time while replenishing manpower. It's too easy otherwise. Oh no, I've discovered the world, what a shame. I've also finished my economic ideas, which increase my raising power gain by 33%. That's quite significant. I can't wait for this to combine with the bonus from barbaric despotism, another 33%. For now, developing provinces is going quite smoothly. I'm upgrading flatland provinces to level 15 and less favorable ones to level 10 to open another building slot. I'm building workshops everywhere. I've waited for this moment to start constructing manufactories at level 11, so now I'm hoarding cash. What excites me most is that Ming still hasn't collapsed, so I'm preparing for another war. I'll attack Oira to finally reach their treasury. Thanks to the changes I've made, I'm earning 120 gold with 46 in surplus. It's going well. And I have to say, automated armies are amazing in this game. You control one army manually and the rest siege everything automatically. No need to think. I can't believe I'm building manufactories with a horde. It feels so strange. I even completed a mission by developing horde lands. I didn't think it was possible since it requires 65% crown lands, which are usually lost during conquests rather than gained. It's just wow! In the end, I completed the entire mission. Every child can be Khan. Now every time my ruler dies without an heir, I'll get an event to choose one. That's super powerful. Alright, the next step is preparing to dismantle the Holy Roman Empire. I'll ally with the electors as usual, then attack the empire and dismantle it. Burning Europe would be something. Ooh, I just got claims on all Mongol territories. Can I become Yuan? How does this work? No. Actually, maybe later. For now, I don't need it. Although it boosts income and increases unit count. Let's see how much money I can squeeze out of Ming. I'm also preparing for another war with the Ottomans. This time, I've built more fortresses to create a defensive line that blocks them from invading my entire country. Alright, I'll conquer some territory, take 3,500 ducats and get war reparations. I thought I'd get more, but for a first war with Ming, it's acceptable. Now I'll quickly return from the east and attack the Ottoman Empire. Wait, how do I have a 105% cavalry to infantry ratio? Oh no, a religious war just broke out. There's a good chance the electors will change soon. I'll need to keep an eye on them. My new army compositions are currently 35, 40 and 20. Don't mind the 8, I'll consolidate and zero it out gradually. Although some infantry is always useful for sieging fortresses, I might not be causing massive losses to the Ottomans, but more discipline would help. I may not conquer much in this war, but Constantinople is mine. Wow, such massive losses. I forgot I'm Sunni, so I can benefit from both monuments. Out of curiosity, I'll soon be able to enact my final reform. Right now I can gain 127, 127 and 63 points from raising Constantinople. I'll see how much I can take in 4 years. How did Austria win that war? Catholics remained the dominant faith. How? You know what? I seized the moment and declared a war without casus belli on one of the electors. And now I'm at war with all of them, including Austria. Boom. I dismantled the empire. Thank you. Game over. Finally, I grabbed it and I have actually much more here. In theory, I could create a ton of tributaries, which would generate even more points, like I did with Sweden. Now I'm starting my conquest of Germany. I'll begin in the north because, based on what I've seen, the fewest nations there have truces with me. Though I must admit, capturing all these fortresses is really annoying. On the bright side, the provinces are well developed, some even reaching level 30. Like Berlin, it was over 30. Honestly, if I could plunder a province more than every 25 years, I'd consider returning them after wars. It's hilarious to see the map and clearly identify where I've been. Everything behind me is red, while Polish territories are well developed and higher level. Now I'd likely start developing Prussian territories and moving toward Riga, all along the Baltic. After the golden era ends, development cost me about 21 per upgrade. Not super cheap, it's been cheaper before. This horde is earning money, which is unbelievable. Well, not much for now, but over time it'll be significantly better. And my armies are over the limit, yet I can afford it. I have to admit, my tall horde approach turned out quite well. I'm curious about your thoughts, let me know in the comments. Would you play like this? Or do you prefer the standard route of building a powerful economy, like in that episode with the United States?